everybody, welcome back. Earl at logbook.com here for more Voyages of Shelf Discovery, and we have a whole box of goodies to open up today because we have the Bad Batch. This was a Prime Day exclusive from Prime Day 2021, and only just recently delivered because, it's the 2020s. It's supply chain stuff going on. And but basically, these are four individual carded figures. You have Rex, Gray, and Ballast, and you have, let's see, I already forgot, the Elite Squad Trooper, which basically looks to me like a slightly less glossy Death Trooper. I kind of wish the fourth figure could have been Omega, but maybe that's just me. And that's probably bad marketing because, if you have all the core characters in one box set, which is patterned vaguely on how Kenner used to multi-pack stuff that hadn't sold in stores back in the 80s. They would, all those Bespin guards and power droids and Rancor keepers that you didn't buy, that you wound up getting remaindered, would be repackaged in multi-packs kind of like this. Maybe not as elaborate because they wouldn't still be individually carded in there. They would just be in multiple bubbles in a boxed blister. But the back, as you can see, is really just a scene from the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch, of course, being the current animated show that's on Disney Plus, and it just one line of descriptive text repeated in 5 languages and in very tiny type, so I'm not going to read it to you now because I do not have my reading glasses with me. Now, as for what happens when I open the box, am I going to actually take the figures off the cards? No, they are going on the wall, and in fact, right above my finger here, you see that I've got an opening prepared for them. I actually had something different up there. I had a couple of the Open Road Brands tin, the metal signs that were duplicates with some 3D relief features of the covers of Marvel's Star Wars and Empire comics adaptations, the individual first issues of each. And I'm going to find a different place to display those because the whole point of this display back here is to, kind of have a little rewind to, walking into that toy store that has everything. And I think I've explained the psychology of my display scheme here before. But to give you kind of a close-up of what is already there. I try to have everything represented, including Clone Wars. So after Revenge of the Sith, obviously after Order 66, you have a gap where I'm going to be putting the Bad Batch. You have Solo, you have some Rogue One. The Rogue One display will probably crunch in a little bit to accommodate figures from either Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett. There's a lot of Star Wars. There's some Empire, there's some Jedi, and obviously after Jedi you have Mando, and after Mando you have the sequel trilogy, and the Bionic Woman. We won't talk about her. And now down here you have the boxed items. Those are vintage Kenner, and boy, do the boxes show it. There's some astromech droids that Charles Potomac sent me, one of my Patreon patrons. Thank you, Charles. There's a Tauntaun that gets busted out of the box every time there's snowfall. There's Porgs, because of course there's Porgs. There's more Porgs. My gosh. And there's a C-3PO that I bought literally to take one picture for Sci-Fi 5. And up here you have, almost at ceiling level, you have the bulk of what I call the Andrew Wester collection, which I believe I told that tale in the very first edition of Voyages of Shelf Discovery. So I'm actually recording this on Andrew's birthday, if I'm not mistaken. So happy birthday, Andrew. I am endeavoring to take care of all of it, as you can see. So, let's get these guys open. I believe I've opened the tape. Yes, I have. So, we'll see. Okay, there's kind of a tray in here, and these were all shipped in a Hasbro shipping box. Safety information: don't eat your figures. Don't dispose of them in fire. Do not taunt Happy Fun Ball. Alright, so here is our Elite Squad Trooper on his individual card. It's not punched. We will do the punching ceremony momentarily. I know some people just scream at that thought. Alright, we have Captain Gray here. And each of them, each of the clone characters have removable helmets. That's neat. Captain Ballast. Trying to angle this so you can see both the figure and the photo. You know, the whole point of the packaging. Well, really, I guess it's not a photo in this instance. It's a rendering. It's a still shot from the show. And, of course, that leaves us with Captain Rex. And I'm trying to remember if this is like the second or third Captain Rex that I have. I think I have one from Clone Wars, and I have one from Rebels, and both of those are out of the packaging, on display in a shelf that actually, just because of the geography, the layout, if you will, of my place, isn't frequently seen. So, we have our dudes here. Let's go put them on the wall, shall we? So we are back at the wall, ready to fill the gap with the new arrivals from the Bad Batch. The hooks that I have on these sort of retired retail fixtures that I've inherited from a variety of places at most hold 2 or 3 figures. And so, as impressive as it all may look, usually there's just 1 or 2 on a hook. 3 is kind of pushing it a bit. So let's start out by punching each one of them. The cards came unpunched, and I know there are some really die-hard collectors who want, unpunched cards on everything. Oh no, my friends, these guys are going to hang on the hooks like they would have done in the good old days. So, as clumsily as I possibly can while holding my phone in one hand and doing all of the card punching with the other, here we go, punching all 4 cards. I'm going to place the first one, if I can see. Kind of a ceremonial occasion here. And we have our glorified Death Trooper retread here. I'm sorry, it is. You know it is. And obviously, he too is going to be at the back of the display, although I do rotate them from time to time. I live in Arkansas, so you have a fairly humid environment in the spring and summer months, and I rotate the cards kind of semi-regularly, because if not, whichever one is in front and has the least amount of support will start to curl. And so I rotate them regularly, so whichever cards show signs of starting to curl, I put them back so that they have something flat and that there is weight on them, and so it sort of presses the card back into shape. The Bad Batch has joined the display between Revenge of the Sith and Solo. And so the wall is once again complete. Kind of, see, let's just take a tour. Let's take a tour of the whole room because my big head is in front of it most of the time. So we have kind of comics and general pop culture, Doctor Who, a shrine to Raymond Scott, the cat tree, because the cats also deserve to be on display, some ELO albums, the greatest band in the world, and thanks to Rockford J, my Season Squeaking's Porg Christmas decoration, which I still have not taken down. Odyssey 2, the fun of a game, the mind of a computer, and still some Star Wars holdovers, some Christmas ornaments still hanging up. Some vintage Coleco mini arcades. Yes, they all still work. The Tron wall. We'll get back to the Tron wall in a moment. We have some more wall signage, including Porgs. Have you noticed I like Porgs? I mean, there are a few vague hints here and there, but in case any of you missed it, Porgs. All right, the Tron wall again, which we have the Diamond Select throwback figures from Comic-Con last year. We have Star Trek Happy Meals from the 70s. No, the food is not still in them. Some Atari games. Porgs. More Porgs. Porgs everywhere. So that's really kind of the, this is the game wall. There's kind of a game wall. There are a couple of record walls or music walls, if you like. And yes, that is a fireplace, but due to my renter's insurance, I can't actually use it, so it's blocked off. Over here on the opposite wall, you know, you kind of round the corner from Star Wars into Star Trek. Quite a few vintage items there. A fair few Christmas ornaments. Some Eagle Moss ships. Some pins, some phasers, because you never know when you're going to need to grab a phaser. Star Trek The Next Generation figures, old, more recent, and very new. Original series. There's the marquee from a Star Trek arcade game. And then lastly, this last wall that is kind of the hardest to see from the webcam shot. This is all toys based on real space vehicles. And I've talked about these before. And what is the weirdest entry on this one? I got this for myself for Christmas. This is Buran. This is the Soviet-era space shuttle. There was actually a toy made of it by an outfit called Micro, which was actually Matchbox's Eastern European imprint, if you will. We have some Apollo memorabilia. You swing over here, and you can see this is the setup that puts this whole show together. It's kind of ramshackle, in case you can't tell. Porgs, but always there are Porgs. There are floaty robot buddies like you would not believe, because I love the black hole. I also love Mando, but really love the black hole. So let's walk over and around. This is actually what most normal people would call the dining area. But this is where my loose figures are on display, at least the ones from Star Wars and Star Trek. Some Eagle Moss ships up top, but Star Wars and Star Trek stuff basically in chronological order of in-universe, not in terms of when the movies came out necessarily. And there is the gear that puts it all together. There's the room. It's a pretty small place, but I have tried to fill it to the brim with that which makes it my happy place, basically. And so the Bad Batch is now in their place of honor, taking up 2 slots on the wall, and they'll get rotated so you have different clone captains facing outward. And yeah, thank you for sticking with me for the slightly extended remix, just kind of showing off most of the whole collection. That's not all of it. That's just the stuff that's out here in the living room and the dining area. We'll talk about the rest another time.